Josh Sayertson here from World Alternative Media. In Manitoba, there are 11,000 children in care. There are 90% Aboriginal. Only 11.1% of this city's entire population is Aboriginal, so that's obviously a huge discrepancy. There are quotas on the amount of children taken. CFS actually makes money off the amount of children that are medicated. One child is taken a day in Manitoba by the NDP. Children are put in hotels where they're often neglected and put in dangerous situations. Children are often put in abusive foster homes as well. There is a gag on the media with actual laws prohibiting media from talking to parents affected by CFS. Parents are threatened that if they speak out or protest against CFS, they'll never see their children again. This is kind of like a mafia tactic. So why do we stand up against CFS?
I stand up against CFS because I see on a regular basis the injustice with families being ripped and torn apart, and I think it's wrong, and I think we need to stop it. The $500 million industry should not be given to families who, by their own definition, is robbing another family to perpetrate the injustice of another family. Why not give the $500 million to the family that needs it most? Address the problem where it matters most. It is wrong to take children from one family and give it to another set of family and give them more money for their mortgage or for their lifestyle. That's wrong. We have to find a way to keep the family together. I want my family to stay together, and I'm sure you do. So stand up with us against CFS.
I'm a mother and I'm a grandmother. With CFS, I have learned some things are going on that it's just not right. We have to keep our families together. Unfortunately, there have been some things that have been going on in the past few decades that have led to this day. And now it's time that we take a look at those decades and we take a look at today and we say, what do we need to do differently? Our children's lives are at stake. Let's not put it off anymore. Let's change it today, now. I beg you.
We stand up against CFS for the children of this province who have died, for the politicians who have done nothing to save their lives, for the children that are to be apprehended today. We stand up against CFS because we know what they have done to destroy families and destroy lives. CFS, you are fired.
Hey, what's up? I'm Bubba B, and I stand up against CFS because what happens with families is more important and more sacred than what happens in governments and democracies. Families are very, very important. The energy, the fluidity, the necessity of it all is so, so important. CFS, they do have their place. There are families, there are parents who cannot handle children. They cannot handle the responsibility of children. So I think that it deals with education. We need to educate these kids who are thinking about having relationships, who are then thinking about having children. They need to understand that there are steps involved and there are things that need to be in place, finances, a place to live, whatnot, security, before you can have a child. That's why I stand up against CFS. Taking kids from families just on a whim and based on a couple people's inexperienced experiences, for lack of a better phrase, is wrong.
Okay, I stand up against CFS because I'm a survivor of the system. I stand up along with many families who I've been helping. Every child deserves to know where they came from. Every child needs to know their culture, their family, their roots. And the system is destroying that for our people. And I say, take back our children, our way of life, our culture, and our families. We are capable of taking care of our own. CFS, you're fired.
Yeah, I stand up against CFS because I stand for the right of the family, the basic human right of the family, of the individual, and of the community to be able to protect themselves, to be able to decide what's best for themselves, and to be able to build their own future. And if they need assistance, whether it be physical or emotional assistance, to be able to have a say in what kind of assistance that is and where it's coming from. We all know we live in a day and an age where government can barely take money from one place and allocate it directly where it's supposed to go. You have a linear A to B, money here, money there situation. We all know government can barely take care of that. Do you really think they can take care of thousands upon thousands of an ever-growing mass of individuals with individual problems? I don't think so.
I stand up against CFS because my life has been turned upside down since CFS stole my son from me over 2 years ago, just because he has disabilities and because he has celiac disease, and because CFS also has been picking on me since I became a single mother. And CFS only became involved because my ex was abusive to me, and when I pressed charges, that's when they became involved after my son got sick also with celiac disease. And I just want to say that all I want is have my son come back home. We all miss my son, and it hasn't been the same since he was taken away.
I stand up against CFS because, and the reason I'm here, CFS system is upside down. Where a system is supposed to help the children and the families, this system is doing exactly the opposite. It is dividing families, killing and destroying them. And so, because this happened to me personally, and you know, even before I was married, even before I had children, I realized that the system is not working correctly. You end up in this mess. Now, as an adult, you could probably withstand the mess, but our children cannot. And for them, it is like going into a war zone. When you hear about soldiers or paramedics, you know, they've seen too much ugliness, and they are coming down with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, etc. We feel sorry for them and we want to help them. But our own children that are going through the same type of war zone, except without the bombs and the bullets. The bombs and the bullets are the bureaucrats, the judges, the healthcare providers, the psychologists, psychiatrists, this massive army that is not using bullets or bombs. They're using words and paperwork and a lot of secrecy to take our children. And in my case, that is exactly what happened. Okay? And there is no good guy, and there is no savior. CFS is killing children using lawyers, judges, and the health system. And this is bringing me down so badly. It's causing me so much depression that I really can't go on anymore. But I will go on in saying this. CFS, I will not stop until you are fired. CFS, you're fired.
I stand against CFS because I'm a voluntarist, and I think that this huge government overreach into the lives of families is absolutely disgusting. We're seeing all these cases where children are being taken from their families without valid reasons. And even in the cases where there are real problems with parents and there are valid reasons to be concerned, there could be a much better system in place that has more of a focus on community and on trying to help families and trying to intervene in a way other than just taking children away from their parents, which should be only a last resort, but is clearly a mode of operation for CFS. It's instead of being the last resort to take away the children, it's the first resort far too often.
I stand up against CFS because children are not government property, and this racket has to end. Recently, our video on the Somali couple whose children were stolen by the government because of broken English has gone viral. For them and all the other parents and children affected by the CFS system, we're holding a rally here at the Manitoba Legislative Building on Friday, November 20th at 1 p.m. And this will be on Children's Day, where we will say, CFS survive!